What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Victory Formation Monday. I am your host, and clearly I don't have a name this week. I will come up with one as we go. I am joined by Dexter Lawrence's dance coach. Clearly, this man loved Dexter Lawrence's sack dance. Clearly, he did. Oh my gosh! Coming off of another Giants win, the Giants improve to 7-2. Coming off the bye week with a win over the Texans, 24-16. As always, we will go over the ups and the downs of the game as far as some of the other things we might have saw, and I look forward into next week. So, um, Dexter Lawrence, dance coach, I will turn it over to you. What were some things that you saw during the game that you liked?
First and foremost, Dexter Lawrence's sack dance. I get excited every time I see him
Okay.
have to do it. Obviously, because of the fact that number one, I coached him how to do that, and then number two,
For sure.
because it would mean that we got another sack. All right, guys is out there doing a hell of a job on the defensive line, putting pressure on Davis Mills all game long. Wink Martindale had this guy having fits, even though he went out there. I think he threw for 300 yards yesterday, but I mean, like a lot of that
He
was
was
garbage time. A lot of that was, we had situations where guys would. I'm not gonna go out there and put it all on like the referees or whatever. But that touchdown that Faber Monroe gave up, yeah, he kind of pushed off. All right, but we're not gonna highlight that. But like I said, of course, the defense, Dexter Lawrence looked good. Leonard Williams was out there doing his thing as well. Shout out to Jason Pinnock getting his first sack with us and everything too. But like I said, defense looked really good yesterday. Aside from some minor spots and things like that. Andrew Thomas is a mauler, as if we didn't know that already. He's a man amongst boys, a man amongst ants. He is out there mauling anyone who gets in his way. And the most satisfying thing in the world is watching Saquon just run his way. Just because you know that 78 is going to be out there putting somebody on skates or into the dirt. One of the two of them. So there's that right there. Of course, Saquon, Daniel Jones out there with a 153.3 quarterback rating yesterday. He got almost perfect on only 13 completions. Darius Slayton, at the beginning of the year before the season started, I wanted this man cut. And as I said before last week, when we did our bye week show,
Mhm.
I am more than happy to be proven wrong. All right. Thank you, Darius Slayton. Keep it going. All right. Keep it going. Like I said, I'll leave some stuff for you or whatever. But yeah, you can tell me what else you got. Oh yeah, also Graham Gano. Goddamn, just because he's the man.
Because he's the man.
Only good FSU kicker in history.
I was like, that's that Florida State bias at its finest right there.
Hey, listen,
Um,
we finally got a good one.
yeah, because what happened to freaking Roberto Aguayo? Um, yeah, I mean, for me, I have to say I'm gonna obviously want to copy something that you're saying, but Daniel Jones, he continues to take care of the ball. That I love. That's one of the main things that I know I harped upon um at the beginning of the season and even in training camp and everything. And just like, yo, being able to hold on to the ball, not turn the ball over, no fumbles, no interceptions, anything like that. So anything like Daniel Jones, like everybody I've been seeing people like on Twitter and everything still talking about as far as he's still holding on to the ball a bit too long. I mean, he's still progressing, and I still get it. Still, again, a new regime, new play call, all that stuff. Yes, he's getting rid of the ball, but he's still playing a clean game. He's been playing clean games all year. That's the main thing. We're not again. You only, like you said, he only had what 17 pass attempts the entire game.
Well, it's
And he,
technically 20, but he took 3 sacks, so they don't end up as pass attempts. But you know,
right, like 13 to 17, like you said, 153 yard point three QB rating, and another clean game. That's really all I've been wanting. Like I just want to see you protect the ball. And another thing was dominating time and possession. That was a big thing for me too.
right?
Dominating again. Like we've been doing that like a good amount of games this year, and I'm happy to see that. Other than that, again, like you said, I've been seeing clips of Andrew Thomas just demolishing people all over Twitter. Saquon Barkley's running like a madman. We're going to get to that. Like we said, we touched on before we even started. The guy has 931 yards rushing in in 9 games.
Yeah.
931 yards rushing. And like you said, God forbid we could have a weapon. Like I see Slayton's kind of emerging. Right? He's emerged past game or two, but like
Mm-hmm.
God forbid we had somebody that Daniel could throw the ball to, or some people that Daniel could throw the ball to. Open up everything else. Kind of. He also has like another 200 yards receiving right now. What are some things that you want? Oh, one other thing I wanted to see was one thing I wanted to say was interesting was the benching of Tate Crowder. That was kind of interesting, and starting Micah in his place, him and Jalen Smith.
It's actually kind of odd. I don't know if that was a mistake on CBS's part, but I could have sworn that Tate Crowder actually started yesterday
He
because they
only he
had his
only
name in the
played.
lineup.
It might have been a mess up, but he only had 2 defensive snaps all game.
Okay.
Yeah, he only played 2 snaps. So, like people, I've been seeing stuff. Like again, everything's like rumors and hearsay, and you don't know what's going on. Actually, I don't know if it's a matchup thing. I don't know if he's not like a Dable guy, Shane guy, but I've been reading he's falling out of favor with them. But I mean, to be an undersized backer, yes, linebackers do get up on him and get it, and they do take him out of plays. He gets washed out quite a bit. But I mean, to be Mr. Irrelevant, he's I feel like he's played well more than his worth to be Mr. Irrelevant. Like to come out
Right.
and be the last pick in the draft, you've been starting for the past 2 years, and you've been doing pretty decently well, to be honest. So I don't know what going forward. I don't know what's going to happen with him as far as they're going to release him after the season. Going to move on. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I know they probably were going to move until the whole Micah McFadden and Jalen Smith and Darian Beavers kind of thing until Beavers tore the ACL. But I don't know where they're going to go as far as what the future plan is for Tate Crowder. I thought he'd be a solid depth piece, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like it's the same thing we were talking about with like Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown.
Right.
I don't really see them back next year, honestly. As much as they are going to be probably core special teamers, but we'll see. What are the things that you would like to have seen us improve on as far as the game?
One of them is a nitpick, and that is just the fact that I would have liked to have seen Daniel Jones pull the ball a little more on some of those read options.
Mm,
I want to say I think he only ran the ball twice yesterday. One of them was a sneak, the other one was like a rollout, a scramble or whatever, where he dropped back and couldn't find anything, and they took off for a first down.
mm,
I'm not sure if that was by design. I don't want to say, I got all of my wood around me that I need to knock on. Talk about any injuries or anything. But like I said, who knows what the situation was? They may have told him, like, all right, listen, we don't want you doing X, Y, and Z today. Just let Saquon do his thing.
very true.
And of course, the other thing, what I would have liked to have seen improve was the 2 passes that went to Kenny Golladay that went incomplete. Now,
Yeah,
like I said,
we're
if I
gonna touch
want to
on that.
be, if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I could give it to him on one pass. That was the first one because okay, wasn't the best pass in the world, but come on, if you're getting paid $19 million a year, you need to make those catches, especially the second one. That's the type of thing where, like, I honestly, when I saw it, the first thing that I thought of was a quarterback drill where you're throwing the ball through the tire. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, Kenny Golladay was literally the tire, and it made no sense. It was absolutely inexcusable. It was absolutely inexcusable. And the thing about it is, I think at this point, I think he himself might be in his own head.
I'm sure he is. He has to be.
I think this is with him. This has to be some, and is probably going to the same thing that Darius Slayton was dealing with. Whatever it was. But in Slayton's case, like I said, that was a drop touchdown pass that could have won a game. I don't know what's going on with Golladay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm pretty sure all the Giants fans remember that game against Washington. Dale Jones put the ball in his fingers, and to me,
Yeah.
it's crazy that they blame Daniel Jones for that, saying that he threw it too far. That was just come on, like come on.
Like
But
I said, it wasn't a perfect pass, but at the same time, like
oh
you're a receiver in the National Football League, then any receiver, anybody at any level, going all the way down to Pee Wee Pop One or whatever you want to call it, if the ball hits your hands, catch it. That's how it goes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's like I said, I was gonna get into Kenny Galladay so we could talk about it, but I mean, like you said, you want to give him like if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. But even so, like that first pass, like you saw Daniel Jones throw it, it went directly through his hands, and after those two
Mm-hmm.
drops, he was sat the rest of the half. Like he was sat the rest of the game, and they put Isaiah Hodgins in, who literally people were just like, it was guys a younger version, just as big as him,
Yep.
and Hodgins came in and
He
he
didn't stay.
produced.
In
He
in this
did.
one game, in this
Yeah.
one game, Hodgins has more yards than Galladay has all season.
Like I for one I don't understand. The Galladay might go down as probably one of our worst signings ever, if not the
It's
worst signing ever.
it's probably it's between him and Nate Solder.
Yeah, like I don't I don't understand it. Like you said, I don't know if it's a case of the drops or like a kicker gets the yips. It's like a receiver version of the yips. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but like you said, like he's trying to keep a good attitude. He's trying to be positive. Like I'm going to keep working at it. I don't know if you're gonna put this guy on the jugs machine. I don't know what you have to do with this guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just dropping everything. And I saw something else on Twitter. That I don't know if it's true or not, but a lot of people were saying that since that hip surgery, that he just doesn't have explosion anymore. So he doesn't have get off. Like that's why he just like kind of jogs off the line, and he can't create the separation anymore. So he doesn't have it in his hip anymore. And I'm like, if that's the case, then he needs to like go sit down, just think about retiring. In this case, like I don't know how if that's true or untrue, but if that is the case, then forget football. If you can't explode off of that hip, like if you're a receiver and you can't run, then you need to retire. That
Right.
like that's just it. Like if you, I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know where it came from, but people were saying like since Galladay's hip surgery, he has no explosiveness in that hip, and that's been slowing him down, and that's why he jogs off the line. That's why he can't separate. That's why he can't move. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's the case, forget football. It's time to move on and do something else with your life. Because if you're a receiver, and you can't run and you can't catch.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing here?
And for what it's
Like
worth, there's always a job in the media you can have. I mean, Dan Orlovsky is a ESPN analyst or whatever.
I don't even understand that because he wasn't even a good quarterback. So I don't even understand why you do a
That
good
that that
quarterback play.
that's my point.
Like, like they get someone like I don't know. To me, like they get some of the worst people that ever played in the NFL. Like Ryan Clark was solid. Ryan Clark was a solid player. Like
Mhm.
Saturday might be damn near a Hall of Famer. Like they have some good people. Mark Schlereth was he was pretty solid for his time. Then you have people like Dan Orlovsky. Like even like I love David Carr, but David Carr wasn't good. Like I'm sorry, like you got the shit in the stick probably being in the Texans when they were an expansion team and all that stuff. Blah blah. You're probably one of the greatest Giants backups ever at quarterback. I give you that much.
Yeah,
But
man, the
like
guys got a Super Bowl ring.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, but as far as like, I'm sorry. Like I see Dan Orlovsky, I see him on ESPN, I see him on social media. I'm just like, why am I respecting your opinion? You weren't good. Like I'm sorry. Like I look at your play and you can break down everything from a chair. That's great. You can sit down, you can study, you can watch film, and you can say, "Oh, he should this, he should do that." Like, great. But when you were on the field, you couldn't do it. That's why you're sitting in this chair in your mid 30s. Well, there's
Hmm.
quarterbacks still in the league in their mid 30s. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to bash Dan Orlovsky, but this is just like I don't respect his opinion on the sports, to be honest.
I am. Keep jumping on Daniel Jones. He's gonna keep on proving you wrong and making you look more fucking stupid.
I shoot, I agree. So the funny thing is, like, going back to Galladay and everything, the funny part about it is now people, everybody was hopping on the whole Galladay train. Like, hey, like, and I know we talked about it too. Like, it'll prove us wrong. Prove us
Hmm.
that you want to be here. Prove us that you want to get better. Prove us that you're gonna have a game. Like, proves that you're gonna come out at some point in ball. Like, and it's just funny because now we have the Lions. You're going back to where you started next week. Will we see anything from Kenny Galladay next week?
I don't
Do
think
you
so.
think we'll see anything? Is he even going to play at this point?
I don't think so. I don't think so. There's a very small possibility. I'll tell you what, if Galladay had caught that crossing route and taken 15, 16, 17 yards or whatever, maybe. But the mere fact that he let both of those passes go through his hands yesterday, nah, I don't think so. I think the possibility is gone now, especially considering the way Hodges came in and played. Like I said, and then we're talking about a real small sample size with Hodgins, but I mean, he went out there and he produced, whereas Galladay went out there and didn't. He caused 2 drives to stall. So
Yeah, like that's it's just funny. Everybody, we said it last week. We were like, yo, like it's Galladay is coming back against the Texans. Like you have a chance to do something, and he, like you said, two big plays. You could have had, you could have got yards off, and you dropped both of them. So now it's like now we're going and we're playing Detroit. You're from Detroit. Last time we played Detroit, you torched us to
yep.
like I think it was 126 yards and like 2 touchdowns. You torched us in 2019 with Detroit. Now we're playing Detroit. Are you going to do anything? Like, are you like you said? Are you going to play? Are you going to play next week? That's the biggest question to me.
Mm-hmm.
Forget like getting a touchdown because everybody's like, "Yo, like, so we hope he gets a touchdown." Blah blah. Like, are you even going to see the field? Are you going to get on the field, or are you going
Are
to
you gonna
mentally check
dress?
out? Exactly. Are you going to mentally check out and just be like, "Yo, like, my knee, I think I tweaked it again," and just is that what you're going to do? Like, that's what I'm waiting to see. Well, speaking of receiver play, you see Darius Slayton is emerging, or re-emerging, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
after a big down year. Like you said before, everybody was on this guy talking about he needs to go. You can release him. We can keep X amount. We can get X amount of money if we release Darius Slayton now. We could move on from this guy and be done with him. And now he's come out in the past. He's come out and he had a great game this past Sunday. A big part of the reason that we won. Um, do you think that Slayton, I'm not gonna say he's back, but do you think that we can kind of lean on this guy more as a re-emerging weapon, or do you think like it's a fluke? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I think Slayton has the opportunity to take some of the pressure off of Daniel Jones
Mm-hmm.
by giving him some type of an outlet, in the receiving core. Um, I'm actually probably going to trail off a little with this one because of the fact that what I'm going to say about Slayton kind of sort of applies to Wan'Dale Robinson as well, and to a lesser extent Isaiah Hodgins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what these guys did yesterday was the most they possibly could have done with the amount that they actually were allowed to have. Um, you had 4 incompletions yesterday from Daniel Jones. 2 of them, like I said, they were the Kenny Galladay drops. All right.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was a really, really bad pass to Slayton that he just threw. I don't know what happened on this play, but he threw the ball like 3 or 4 yards behind Slayton or whatever he was coming across the field and a crossing route from left to right. And I saw it. I'm like, what the heck just happened here? Because I'm like, I know Slayton didn't overrun the ball this bad. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like I said, I'm assuming in that case that it was literally just a bad throw on Daniel Jones's part. The other one, I don't remember what happened with that one. But in 13 completions, granted, one of them a 54-yard touchdown. 13 completions, we're talking about just under 200 yards. All right. Granted, defense really isn't all of that great or whatever that we're going up against, but it's still an NFL defense. If we can get production from them, take some type of pressure off of both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley,
Mm-hmm.
then you're talking about something that could be built towards not just a playoff appearance, but a playoff run. The team at this point right now is 7-2. All right. Feels weird as hell saying that. All right. But
It
in the
does, but it feels
NFC,
nice.
the way the NFC is shaping up, 10 wins should get you into the playoffs. There's really not that, really not that big of a there's really not that many teams that are up there with a huge number of wins like that. There's literally like right now we're what, fourth in the NFL, in the entire
Around there.
NFL.
Yeah,
Like
around there.
it's us. It's of course Philadelphia. Minnesota's out there, and there's somebody else. I can't remember who the other team is, but like I said, we're sitting up there. We're pretty high as far as like our actual our record, our win total, and everything. And there's not a whole lot of teams that are actually in that echelon just yet. So,
Right.
like I said, 10 wins should get you into the playoffs or whatever. That's not that big of an ask right now, considering we still got, Indianapolis on the schedule. We got Washington on the schedule twice, and of course, Detroit next week. Again,
That's four.
not
That
saying that any game is easy,
of
but
course not.
those are definitely games that you look at and be like, you know what, we should, at the very, very, very least, should be competitive.
Yeah.
Um, but like I'm saying, like give me some type of production. Give me something to equal out, something to even out this huge discrepancy. Because we're talking about, I think when the game ended, it was, I want to say the play discrepancy was like 60 something percent towards the run. And like
Yeah.
as much as I love Saquon Barkley and I love old school football, you cannot win that way consistently. Like we
Yeah.
gotta have some more balance on this offense.
A lot
So
of people have been talking about that. Like even Dable was saying, like he didn't love how we played, but you played to your strengths. And that's what he
yeah,
was talking about. That's what a lot of people have been saying. Like we ran the ball 43 times yesterday, and we only threw it 17. So that's out of your 60 plays right there.
yeah,
Like I think what was it 35? Saquon ran 35 times, I believe it
yep.
was. 35 runs for
35
152.
rushes. He had 36 touches because I think he had one reception yesterday.
Like as I said, Dable was saying, and a lot of people were saying, like, and you see with the Titans and you see with a lot of other teams, like, if you can't find some type of balance to your offense, it's not gonna be sustainable.
Right.
His squad saying, what do you think our win total is going to be? So his squad, just to answer your question, um, I had us at the beginning of the season before we even like when the season first started. I figured new coach, whole new staff, new regime. I had us at 7 to 8 wins. That's what I had. So I had us at 7 and 9, 8 and was it 7 and 9? Am I not math right? 7 and 10,
7
seven and
10.
10. I had us at 7 and 10, 8 and 9. That's what I had us at. Um, just because I figured Dable and Captain and everybody would come in and it'd be good. It would show progress, but it would show that we still have a ways to go. Now at 7 and 2, and like he was just talking about, saying as far as like you could possibly split, or you have 4 games coming up or 5 games coming up that can be at least like you said competitive. The Lions, the Colts, and 4 games. The Lions, the Colts, and the Commanders twice. I don't know if we're going to win all 4 of those games, but if you can pull out at least 3 of those 4, that puts you at 10 wins. I still have us. I have us at around 10 to 11 wins. Um, 12 and 5 would be amazing. 12 and 5 would be crazy. But I have us at 10 to 11 wins. I hate saying 10. I hate saying 10 wins because that means we'd only go 3 and 5 down the stretch. But I I have us at 10 to 11 wins right now. I don't know. What are you thinking on that one?
Well, like I said, before the season started, we
All right.
we were having a discussion in the chat or whatever, and I basically put it out there like I think our range is between 7 and 10 and 10 and 7. I said our ceiling
Mhm.
was probably 10 and 7, but at like I said, at the halfway point, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, you know what? At this point, if 10 and 7 is it, like I'm probably gonna be a little disappointed considering the
Exactly.
way that we played.
Exactly.
Like,
Double-digit win sounds amazing until you look and you're like, well, we won 6 in the first half. Like
yeah.
yeah, it's like you failed down the stretch. Now I'm just like, now I feel like an asshole because I doubted us. Like,
So
and
I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, you know what? Like I said, next week, of course, I'm not really too I'm not sold on the fact that we're just gonna go beat the living hell out of Detroit because that's just not how we've done things this year.
No, they've
Um,
been playing tough. Everybody,
yeah, honestly, so is Houston.
right?
Houston's gone out there and they've given everybody a fight.
Like the Lions
But
almost beat the Eagles 38-35.
mhm. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to look past anybody. But the
Mm-mm.
mere fact that Thanksgiving is looming, literally right there,
Mm-mm.
that is my measuring stick. That's the measuring stick right there. You just had a team that we went into London and beat, turn around and beat Dallas yesterday. So, granted, like I said, their passing game is a little more solidified right now than it was when we played them. But it's not
Yeah,
like Christian Watson wasn't out there playing then either. All right. So,
it's
like I
like
said, I'm looking at it and I see possibilities for wins. But like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic as we go forward. My measuring stick is Dallas, and then we got a nice little break there because of the fact that we got because that's that Thursday game, and then we got to turn around and go to I no we don't go to Philly. We go back home and we got Philly at home. So all I'm saying is I'm
yo,
ready.
his squad. We gotta get this guy on the show because his last two comments. First of all, if we go 12-5 and people want a new quarterback, I'm gonna lose my entire shit. First
No,
off,
no, you know how Giants fans are, man.
I
12-5.
know,
We were 12-5 in spite of Daniel Jones. That
I
guy was
know,
still the worst quarterback in the NFL.
I know. We go 12-5, and they're gonna be like, "Well, why didn't we win 14 games then?" If that's the case, like, it's never enough. We can go 12-5, win the Super Bowl, and be like, "Well, we should have won by more than 3 points." Like,
No,
bro, you,
yo, I'm sorry. Sidebar, real quick. That right there, that one comment right there reminds me of back in '07. We won the Super Bowl, and then leading into the next season, somebody was trying to convince everybody that Dallas was still better than us. It was like, oh, well, the Giants won the Super Bowl, but they didn't win their division. Really?
yo, and then he says, I might be going to that Thanksgiving game." He's like, "Cause I'm gonna be in Dallas for a week with my girl who's a diehard Cowboys fan. Pray for me." I am gonna pray for you, and and I hope I hope I see you on camera. I hope I see you in the big jumbotron in Arlington.
Hey, for what it's worth, um, I mean, not the girlfriend thing aside, because that's a problem. We got we got some female cowboy fans in the family, but
Yeah, I know. Oh,
like as far as going to the stadium, from what I've heard, the fans there, aside from talking a whole bunch of crap, they're not bad. Um, Now, if you're talking about going down the link, that's a different story because fuck them. I'm
man,
never
you're
making
on your
that
own.
trip.
You're on your own if you go to the link, bro. I'm not there with you. Go to the
I
link.
am never making that trip.
Nah, I won't even go to a bar in that place.
Nah, man.
You can keep that.
Yep.
Oh man, I wanted to throw it. I wanted to throw like a name at you because I know you said we were talking about like. So I wanted to talk about one, two, I guess, because you were talking about if we could find somebody or whatever that we can take some of that, take some of the heat off of Daniel and Saquon. What did you think of Hodgins and Lawrence Cager yesterday? Because like you said, Hodgins came in and gave us 41 yards receiving. I think it was
Mhm.
on 3 or 4 receptions, and then Lawrence Cager came in and gave us a touchdown. And a lot of people said that like even like the blocking and even the route running, some people were saying like he looks like he could be pretty good and he could if people were saying he might be like a not tight end one, but like as long as Belly's out and we're not playing Tanner Hudson like that, at least more for blocking, he can catch maybe like a ball or two. But
Mhm.
what do you think of their performances? And do you think they could be into a good part of the offense going forward?
Uh, as far as Cager goes, I would say a decent part. Um, Hodgins more so yes than Cager. I would say
Okay.
I would lean more on Hodgins' part because of the fact that the way NFL offenses run, for the most part, you need three guys in your receiving core. All right. So with us, technically right now, I would look at Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson, and now Hodgins, if he's the one that actually goes forward in that position. Like, granted, I don't know what happened to David Sills, fell off the face of the earth or something. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's a wrap for Still's army at this point.
pretty much, he had his opportunity. Everybody was behind him, myself included. But hey,
Yeah, same.
like he got the opportunity and he couldn't actually get the job done. But more power to him either way. But like I said, I would lean more towards Hodgins in that case, just because of the fact that in today's NFL, like I said, you need at least three wide receivers, to make a difference in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's holding me with Cager is Bellinger, because personally, and this may be biased, but personally, I don't think I can give Cager the go ahead to be like, yeah, tight end number one right off of the bat when Daniel Bellinger has just been that guy all season long, up until
Yeah,
somebody just decided to try and take his eye out in the middle of a game the other day.
my man said he's gonna wear a visor forever now. I don't blame him.
I
I don't
would
blame
do.
him. What kind of freak accident is that? Yo, Cager was tough. Like Squad said, Cager's low key nasty. I liked him
He
too.
is.
We talked about him out of college because he was at Miami and he's a Georgian in Miami. Like we talked about him out of college being a good player,
Mm-hmm.
and I was happy we took him from the Jets. And I'm not to screw the Jets over, but the Jets have like 18 tight ends, so I'm like, yo, like take Cager's
Share
big
some of the
body
wealth.
guy, huh?
It says share some of the wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're over here with freaking Chris Myarick playing tight end every like God, it annoys me. It's not. It's not like he's bad, but he just annoys me. He's not a tight end. Leave me alone. Yeah, I think he could be like a good matchup problem for some people. To be completely honest with you, like he came in and he has the route running. He has the hands of a receiver. He's just a little bit bigger. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he's a little slower, but the guy got in the end zone. I think maybe if you when Belly gets back, Belly and him could be a 1-2 kind of thing.
That's
I
my
wouldn't be mad at
thinking.
it.
That's my thinking. If you
Wouldn't be
want to
mad
run
at that
two
at
tight
all.
ends set, then you can run Bellinger and Cager out there. I don't see what the problem is. Now, the one thing I am going to say is maybe this is the fact that he's still learning the offense and everything like that. What I what I did not like, and it wasn't just him. I saw the play that he scored on. I swear I saw that place like 7 times yesterday, and I'm like, all
But
right.
we do that though. But we do that.
I'm like, come on. There has to be some type of variety. Come on, Kafka. Like,
I've noticed that a couple games where Kafka does not care. He
mhm,
definitely does not care. He'll run that same play, like he'll pull it out multiple times on either the same drive or he'll do it in the first, hit you in the second, stop in the third, hit you again like 3 times in the fourth. Like he does not care. If it
mhm.
ain't broke, don't fix it. He be riding by that. Like
They should be like, all right, you know what? You're gonna get this until you stop it. And the problem is, they kind of stopped it a couple of times yesterday. So,
exactly, exactly. Shoot. Well, talking about talking about our offensive weapons. Of course, we're going to move on to Saquon, and like we were talking about him again. Like you said, 152 yards rushing yesterday, leads the league at 931 yards rushing for the season. 9 games in, the boy is on pace for damn near 2,000 yards rushing this year. Like if he keeps having monster games like this, he's on pace for 2,000. I'd love to see him hit 2,000. But then
remind me now. Granted, like I said, we're talking about a 17-game season, but remind me what the Giants' record is. Isn't it 1866 by Tiki Barber in 2005, if I remember correctly? And that's just off the top of my head because my other phone's dead. It's right here. That's
I'm just saying. Like the man has a chance. The man has a chance to hit 2,000. If he hits 2,000, like I said, like we were talking about before we got on, if he hits 2 grand and this man does not get re-signed, I might turn in my hat. I might, I might turn my Giants hat in if he doesn't get re-signed. You cannot let somebody if this guy goes for 2,000 yards rushing, say 400 to 500 yards receiving. is the primary or one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, you are currently 7-2. If you do not, and the man is up for, he's got to be up for MVP. Forget comeback player, forget everything else. Guys up for rushing titles and MVP probably. Without, I mean, what's MVP stand for? Most valuable player. This guy is probably the most valuable player. Debatably,
We've been having that argument for years.
debatably, he is he is the most valuable player on the Giants. Debatably, he's he's debatably the most valuable person to his team in the entire league because you cannot, and nobody in the chat, anybody watching or anybody that sees this can tell me that we are 7-2 with Matt Breida and Gary Brightwell running the ball. There's nobody in this world that can tell me we'd be 7-2 with those two running the ball. You're not telling Matt Breida does not have 931 yards rushing right now. Like, and that's just facts. Like him and
Yeah,
Brightwell
and they're like,
combined.
don't take this as us taking shots or whatever. It's just the truth.
Yeah. Like he literally is the biggest or one of the biggest factors to the fact that we are 7-2. Yes, coaching of the year. We might sweep awards. Like he might get comeback player of the year and MVP. Dable might sit up here and take coach of the year. Like we might just start racking awards. What else is like Andrew Thomas might get lineman of the year.
He should.
I'm just saying.
And the funny thing about it is not to get too far off the Saquon topic, but he sat up there. Still, I think he gave up like what 2-3 pressures yesterday. And
Who?
as far as what Pro Football Focus did, Andrew Thomas.
From what
But
I saw, he had none. He had no pressures and 23 dropbacks. That's what I heard. That's what I read.
I got to look at it again because I heard him saying
I
something
gotta
about
verify
himself
that.
needing to be better. So, my, dude has the same mindset my sister does. Never satisfied. Just keep on
Never.
pushing.
That's it. That's it. Like like I said, like this guy. We're gonna get in there, Gary. But like, and another one that you talking about, as you alluded to with your name, Dexter Lawrence. Another one that like it just continues to be a monster in the middle of the season.
Yep.
Finally playing like how we all knew he should have been playing all along. Love to see it. Another one needs to be resigned.
Yep.
Like it's somebody put it on Twitter like what was it? Let Linval Joseph walk, let Barry Caulfield walk, let Jonathan Hankins walk. Do not let Dexter Lawrence walk.
Oh no, I was sitting up there, and the funny thing about it is, I laughed at it for a second, and then I immediately started tearing up. You know the meme of that dude that's standing by the tree like this.
Mm-hmm.
That junk said that, but it said Minnesota Vikings waiting to sign Dexter Lawrence.
It's so true though.
It's literally everybody. You're taking it all the way back to Cornelius Griffin. They did the
Oh
same
my
thing.
oh
It's
my
either them or
gosh.
Washington.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was getting ready to say it's either them or Washington takes all of our defensive tackles. Except
Mm-hmm.
William Joseph. William Joseph went to the Raiders. But like Linval went to the Vikings. Hank Hank went to the Vikings too, right?
Hank went to the Raiders.
He went to the Raiders. Who's Dalvin Tomlinson went to the Vikings.
Right.
Oh, another
Cofield
one.
went to Washington.
Yep. Like
So
we I don't understand that we always do that too. We draft D tackle. The one thing that we can draft amazing is D tackles. The one thing the Giants let the Giants pick a D tackle for you. He'll be a surefire pick. We pick a D tackle, that dude balls out for 4 years. Yo, this guy's a beast in the middle. He's that to you. Like we did it once, we could do it again. But why do it again? Just resign this guy. Like I don't understand this. Even when we signed like an older Snacks Harrison, he came into New York and had great seasons with us.
yep.
And then we were just like, all right, see you. Like out of him, Olivier Vernon, and freaking Janoris Jenkins, we let Snacks walk first. Why? Like, stand us. What is producing the most? You let go? I don't.
I don't
I don't.
understand it.
I don't either.
I don't
I don't
understand
either.
it. Yeah, exactly. His squad. You cannot let him walk out the door. Like I said,
No.
like I said before we started. Granted, the urgency is more with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley because, like I said, Dexter Lawrence has the option year. But I can almost guarantee you he's not going to play on that option year. He's going to hold out. So Joe Shane, you want the job, and I wanted you in the job. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I think most of us wanted him. I think it was down to who was it down to? It was down to Shane, Adam Peters, and I want to say Ryan Poles.
Yeah, it's the
And they
dude
were
that
like,
went. Poles is the one that went to Chicago, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he was
And
the other one.
and Peters and you see Chicago just got freaking fleeced for Chase Claypool.
Hmm.
So I don't want Ryan
Thank you.
Poles.
Thank you for not doing
That guy.
that.
I didn't want him to give up the second round for Chase Claypool. Forget about it. No, and then the other one was Adam Peters. I believe he was the assistant GM or he was an executive for the Niners. I want to say the Niners or the Cardinals, one of the two. I want to say the Niners.
Think it was the Niners.
I want
I
to say it
know
was
there was
one
a
of the
guy from
two.
the Cardinals in there. I just don't remember what happened with him.
They get the job. And then there wasn't Adrian Wilson like from the Cardinals. I know he played safety for the Cardinals, but I think he was like an executive for the Rams, something like that.
I
I
don't
think
remember.
Peters. I think Peters was from the Rams, but I'm getting off track. But yeah, I see. Like you said, Shane got the job. A lot of people are like I wanted. A lot of people like we said we wanted Shane the whole time. So
Mhm.
to get him was a big get for us. And like I said, he's for him somebody to. If you would have told me like we would have let go of like Blake and we would have let go of like Bradbury and everything, and to be 7-2 right now, I've been like, that. Are you serious? Like, who are our corners? Aaron Robinson, he's out now. We did say that Rodarius Williams is. You said I think he's back or
They just activated him. It popped up as an alert from the Giants app right before we started.
so. I mean, that's good. He was playing pretty well before the injury last year, so that's good. Um, but I mean, like you again, if you would have named like if you would have said like Bradbury was gone, and he was like, okay, well we have a Dory, who's your other corner? Like if you didn't tell me anything else, I would have either thought like Rodarius, and like he's off ACL tear, so who could also Aaron Robinson? But again, another guy just injured and he was getting destroyed the whole like preseason. So
Hmm.
I don't know. And I mean, I saw some of the I know Art Stapleton he tweeted out a couple of things as far as he said we signed Henry Mondo to the active roster.
Yep.
He was out of practice squad elevations. Yeah, he also said Darius Williams has been activated. We waived Devery Hamilton. We waived Justin Lane from the team, and then we waived Will Holden from the practice squad. But I think everybody's expecting Devery to be back on the practice squad, possibly Lane too.
Hmm.
And then Big Blue View, if you like follow that, or anybody watching follows them, they tweeted out snap counts for offense and defense, which they do every week. That I find pretty interesting. Um, by the way, I wanted to say, like, Dane Belton, what a game. We talked about him having to step up. We literally
He
said
had some
last week.
he had some struggles, but he had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, we literally were talking about him last week during the bye. Like, that's somebody who needs to step up. Like,
Hmm.
needs to step up. And from what I think he did. Other things that he played, it's crazy to say they only had 64 snaps on defense. They only played 64 snaps the entire game, but Dane played all 64. Tay Crowder. Oh, and you're right. So only 2 snaps for Tay Crowder, despite being introduced as a starter.
Yeah.
Zimenez had 47. Pinnock had 23 after getting one the entire season, and Henry Mondo played 22 snaps. Julian Love and Adoree played all 64. That's the
Mhm.
only people in defense that played all 64. And then on offense, they said Galladay had 26, and then he was benched for the second half. Isaiah Hodgins had 43, while Marcus Johnson only had 4. Nick Gates was in for 13. Awesome. See, Slowly, my man is coming back. Slowly, Nick Gates.
That's these guys in that super jumbo package with the 8 offensive linemen.
Yep. Put that jumbo offensive lineman in. My man was playing jumbo tight end, and I love it. My man Gates is slowly being trickled back into the offensive line. And then it's a 5 apiece for Matt Pert and Jack Anderson. And then Cager had 43 reps. So, like I said, like his squad said, you might have a case where you have Bellinger's 1, and when he comes
Yep.
back, Cager's 2. And I'm completely happy with that.
I like it.
It'd be a nice little pickup if we can get him rocking and rolling like that. Shoot, like I said, now nothing else but on next week, right? That's it.
The only other thing I have is, dear NFL, Kayvon Thibodeau is being held. Throw the flag.
They ain't gonna throw the flag. It's the Giants. They don't throw flags for us.
Dude's just sitting up here hanging off this man's waist. Like, come on. Hey, showing like a whole cape.
Wow, this is interesting to see too. Like I like reading some of these snap breakdowns. Like Tanner Hudson only played 11 snaps yesterday. Myarick played 16. Slayton had 55. And Tyree Phillips, look at that guy holding up that tackle while Evan Neal comes back. Look for that guy. Shoot. Well,
No, really.
that's you can't write this. If ever there was a way to end the podcast, it's that.
That's
That
it
is
right there.
amazing. That is amazing. With that, folks, we are going to end it.
Jesus.
Wow.
I cannot deal with it. The bots
That
just
is,
showed up. That's how you know
that is
you've made it.
amazing.
You get
That
bots.
is, that is amazing. Well, another week in the books. Another Giants win in the books. 7-2 on it's called. Can't even close the show. On to the Lions. Hopefully, we'll be back next week with another victory formation. Until then, guys, thanks for watching as always. Like, subscribe, comment, support. Let us know what you like, didn't like. Let us know your thoughts on anything and everything. Until next time, just remember my left tackle is better than yours because mine's Andrew Thomas. And
Hey, and just make sure y'all sign up for them dance classes. All right, we in on it. All right, you use those for the new site with the hot girls.
until next week, Giants fans, have a good one. Happy Monday, guys. Sex fine, whatever. Fucking amazing.